In strip foundation, we can have plain concrete footing, okay, or we can have reinforced concrete footing. So before getting into the design of reinforced concrete footing, let us design a plain concrete wall footing on a sandy soil. So the question is, okay, so this is the problem which has been given to you. So the load is given as well as the bearing capacity of the soil has been given. Now here nothing has been mentioned whether you have a gross bearing capacity or net bearing capacity. So if nothing has been mentioned, it is always advisable you consider the bearing capacity whatever is given as the gross bearing capacity of the soil. So what should be the procedure which you should follow to solve this type of problem? What will change here? Only the load magnitude will change and the bearing capacity will change. And if I have systematic steps, you can follow those steps to design these kind of foundation, this type of problem. So my first step, step one. First, what we will do, we will uh, compute the plan area which is required to carry this load safely to the foundation such that your bearing capacity does not exceed. So plan area required. So my first step has to be to compute the plan area. Okay. So how you are going to do it? Since I said this is what gross bearing capacity because nothing has been mentioned. So at founding level, I need to know what is the total load which is going to come. Okay, so what is the total load which is going to come at the founding level? So we have 150 kilonewton per meter. Now we do not know the founding depth, and since we do not know the founding depth, we are unaware of the weight of the backfill also. So in absence of that, generally uh, what we assume that the self weight of the foundation, the backfill, as 8 to 10% of the load which is going to act on the structural element. So here my structural element is my brickwork. So let us assume 10 percentage of. So this is assumed backfill and self weight of foundation. Later you may rectify this, but it is always you will be always be in the safer side if you assume 10%, 8 to 10% you can assume. So if I do this, I get how much? 1.1 into 150. This turns out as 165 kilonewton per meter. Now next what? I need to know the base area required. Okay, so what we do generally whenever we design a strip footing, so say this is my brickwork. Okay, so what I'm intending to provide a foundation. So my foundation, this is my width of the foundation, which I'm intending to provide. This is my width of the foundation. Now, in order to do my computation, what I always consider, I consider 1 meter strip of the foundation. Okay, I design for 1 meter strip. Okay, I extract this 1 meter strip and whatever detail I get, I provide the same detail throughout. Okay, so if I consider 1 meter strip, what is going to be my required width? So I should compute the upward pressure because of the load since I'm considering 1 meter strip. So in 1 meter strip, I'm having a load of 165 kilonewton. Okay, so for 1 meter strip, so I have how much load? It will be 165 kilonewton. So the upward pressure, my upward pressure, it should be what? It should be less than equal to what? The bearing capacity of these ones. So I need to make sure that my upward pressure should be less than bearing capacity of. So what is going to be my upward pressure? The total load. The total load is 165 kilonewton. And what is the base area? Since I'm considering 1 meter strip, it will be 1 into width of the foundation. Rather than taking less than equal to, let us do equal to. What is the gross bearing capacity of the soil? So the gross bearing capacity of the soil, which was given to you, is 100 Newton per meter square. Now from here, I get width equal to 1.65. So if I provide width greater than 1.65 meter, my upward pressure will always be less than equal to bearing capacity of the soil. So this is the minimum width which is required to get the bearing pressure or upward bearing pressure as 100 Newton per meter. So you are getting the trial width as 1.65 meters. So this is my required width. So I have done my part. This width, I'm knowing how much I should try with. So I'm trying with 1.65 meter. Now next is what I need to check this width for transfer of stress from the wall to the concrete, because this is the wall. This wall is going to bear on concrete. So I should make sure that the bearing stress in concrete does not get exceeded. Okay, so let me draw the section. What do I mean by this statement? So you have this wall, which is running continuously. Okay, so this is my wall, and this is my plain concrete footing. Now here what you can see, here you have this bearing pressure. Okay, because this wall is resting directly on concrete, so I do not want the bearing pressure at this interface uh, to not get exceeded. Okay, so I do not want that to get exceeded. So let me check what is the bearing stress at this particular interface. So my step 2 is checking width or transfer of stress from the wall to. In fact, the kind of footing which you are having, it is like this. Okay. It is stepped. So at the interface, this width which is given to you is 400 mm. This is what was said in the question. Some kind, this kind of footing you have. So if you read this question, it is written for a masonry wall stepped to 400 mm width. Okay, so basically this width from here to here, this is 400 mm. So I need to check this width for transfer of stress from the wall to the concrete at this particular interface. Okay, so transfer stress. So it is going to be the transfer stress. So let me denote this as Q. So again, I'm considering 1 meter strip. So I have a load of 150 kilonewtons, 150 Newton per 3 Newton. And please see, 150 kilonewton load is actually acting at this particular interface, not the backfill. So that's why I'm not considering 165. I'm just considering what is the load which is coming from the wall directly to my footing. So it is 150 kilonewton. So that's why I've written 150 kilonewton. So I've converted this in Newton. Divided by, since I have 1 meter strip, so 1000 into this width is 400. So 1000 into 400. Okay. So I get this Q as, if you do this computation, 1000 cancel now. 150 by 400, so 15. It will be 0.375. Please check this. Newton per meter square. Okay, so what is the allowable bearing stress? How will you know about this allowable bearing? What should be the allowable bearing stress? So what I will do, I will take a screenshot of IS 456. This provision is there in page number 65, right? So allowable bearing stress, if you look into this thing, so what it is saying, since I will be dealing with limit state method, so for limit state method of design, the permissible bearing stress shall be 0.45 FCK. But actually this 0.45 FCK has to be multiplied with root over A1 by A2. If you read this, the bearing pressure on the loaded area shall not exceed the permissible bearing stress. So this permissible bearing stress is 0.45 FCK. Okay, in direct compression multiplied by a value equal to root over A1 by A2. So what is allowable bearing stress for me? Bearing stress. So this allowable bearing stress is actually 0.45 FCK root over A1 by A2. Okay, so this is my formula. Now if you read this, what is A1 and A2? Here it is written A2 as loaded area at the column base. So instead of column base, I am having the wall base. Okay. Now here we have what? Supporting area for bearing of footing, which is sloped or something written. But right now, please understand what exactly is happening. This wall is bearing on this particular width only. So I should know what is this one. So basically right now my A1 and A2 both are actually same. Okay, right now A1 and A2 both are same. But suppose if I wanted to know the bearing stress at this particular interface, in that case my A1 and A2 would have been different. But right now, since I just want to know the bearing stress between this masonry wall and concrete, what is that? So in that case, this case, what I have, A1 and A2 both are actually same. Okay, but suppose if I wanted to know the what is my bearing stress over here, in that case your A1 and A2 would have been different. A2 would have been this one, and A1 would have been like you would have created a sloping line. It's been mentioned over here, like it's been mentioned. When we take up the problem, the other type of problem, then we'll see. The area actually loaded a side slope of 1 vertical to 2 horizontal in order to know about it. But here I do not worried about this A1 because A1 and A2 both are same. So your A1 will be equal to A2 in this case. Since I'm talking about that interface itself, so A1, A2 both are same. So I get allowable bearing stress as 0.45 FCK, 0.45. The grade of concrete was M20, so it is 0.45 into 20, which gives you 9 Newton per millimeter. So this is my allowable bearing stress. Now I can clearly see that this Q, okay, whatever Q we have got, it is actually less than allowable bearing stress, 9 Newton per millimeter square. This Q we had got as 0.37. Since it is less than 9 Newton per millimeter square, so I can write the comment that whatever width you have provided, or the width of the wall of 400 mm which you are having, is safe in bearing. And suppose if Q is greater than 9 Newton per millimeter square, how you can actually reduce this? By increasing this width, 400. Suppose this quantity, if it would have come 10 Newton per millimeter square, how you could have reduced that? By increasing the stepping width of the mason. Okay. So once you have done, next what we will do, we will compute the angle of dispersion. The footing. So this is a plain concrete footing. My step 3 is going to be angle of dispersion. So in order to compute angle of dispersion, again I will come to the provision which is given in IS 456-2000. So it is there in clause number 34.1.2. So here it is. It is written in reinforced and plain concrete footing. Okay, so it's been mentioned that the minimum should be how much depending upon the type of soil or depending upon the type of footing which you're providing. Now, if you read 34.1.3, so I should focus on this. In case of plain concrete pedestal, so here I should not worry about pedestal, I should worry about this plain concrete. Instead of pedestal, what I have a plain concrete footing. So that can also act as a pedestal. So the angle between the plane passing through the bottom edge of the pedestal and the corresponding junction edge of the column. So this is the equation which is given. So what do you mean by this? If I come to this diagram, or let me make one diagram again. Say this is my wall, and this is the footing, plain concrete footing which I have provided. So it is saying that the angle of dispersion, so from the base, like here it is written, passing through the bottom edge of the pedestal. So instead of pedestal, I have wall. So this is my bottom edge. So from here, I'm going to draw the line. Yes. With the horizontal, this angle is alpha. This is my angle of dispersion, alpha. Okay, so this alpha is your angle of dispersion. So it is saying that the tan alpha, it should be what? Greater than equal to 0.9 times 100 Q naught by FCK plus 1. So this condition has to be satisfied. Now, what is Q naught? Q naught we have already computed. That is the bearing pressure. Okay. This is what is called as transverse stress. Not bearing pressure. It is called as transverse stress, Q. So it is there in the code. If you look into it, will come to it. So we have already computed Q. So what we have done, this Q or Q naught equal to Q equal to, this is 0.375. So from here, I'd be able to, from this expression, I would be able to compute this angle alpha. What should be the angle of dispersion? And this will help me to compute the thickness of the footing. So let us compute tan alpha first. So if we do tan alpha, okay. So rather than greater than equal to, let me take equal to 0.9 square root of 100 into 0.375 divided by FCK is 20 plus. So if you do this computation, how much you will get?
So 1.526.
Okay, 1.526. Okay, I'll write 1.53. So tan alpha is 1.53. So this is my angle of dispersion. So what I have done, I have computed this angle of dispersion, and with the help of this angle of dispersion, I would be able to compute the thickness of the footing. So let me write the step 4, which will help you to compute the thickness of the footing. Thickness of footing. How I can compute thickness of footing? Please see. How much was this dimension which we are providing? The style dimension which I am going with. It is 1650 millimeter. This width is 1650 millimeter. Okay. How much is this cantilever length? This cantilever length. How much will be this cantilever length? This dimension is 400. 1650 minus 400 divided by 2. Okay, so this is the length of the projection. Okay, so what is going to be the length of projection? Length of projection, it will be 1650 minus 400 divided by, so 1250 divided by 2, which will give us 625. Okay, so length of the projection is 625 mm. Now from here, if I say T is the thickness of the footing, T is my thickness of the footing, this is my projection P. So what is going to be tan alpha? Tan alpha is going to be T by P, is it not? Tan alpha is going to be what? T by P. So let me write this as T. Let the thickness of footing be T millimeter. Okay. So what will be tan alpha? You just see now from the sketch, it is T by P. And just now we have seen tan alpha is 1.53. Okay, tan alpha is 1.53. So from here, I get thickness of the footing as 1.53 into 625. So how much is the thickness of the footing you should provide?
954 mm.
954. You can say that, let us provide the thickness of footing as 960. Okay, so you have got the dimension. You are going to provide 1650 width, and you are providing 960 mm thickness of the footing. Okay. Now, if you see, if I want my thickness to reduce, what you should do? How you can reduce the thickness of the footing? Now here you see I am having 960 mm. Now I don't want to provide 960 mm. I want to provide little bit less thickness of the footing to save concrete, because if I consider compare brick and concrete, concrete is going to be expensive. So what you should do such that my thickness of the footing should reduce?
Sir, increase the width.
Increase the width of what? Footing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here you see, if I increase the width of the footing, my projection is going to increase. Please understand. If I increase this width of the footing, my bearing pressure is going to be less. So I don't have any problem. But my projection is going to increase. If my projection increases, what you can see this relationship? Projection times this angle of dispersion. So basically, I should make sure that my angle of dispersion is less. Okay, and how you can ensure this dispersion to be less? So please see this expression. Whenever you are looking into these things, you should always have a thought on all these things. See the formula, you'll be able to know how I can reduce this tan alpha. So let me see the formula of tan alpha. So this is the expression of tan alpha. Okay, so here it is talking about 0.900 Q naught by FCK. And if you look into this also, like this P, okay, like say if I want to reduce this P, why don't increase the stepping size in the brickwork? Instead of 400 mm, say if I provide a 500 mm this thing, big thicker brickwork, then obviously my projection is going to reduce. Is it not? If I, rather than 400, if I provide 500 projection, what is going to happen? So let us see this thing. So let me give you this insight. So let us, let me write like this. Note the thickness of footing can be reduced. I'll show you how exactly it reduces. Can be reduced by providing more stepping in the foundation. Okay, so let me say that, say the stepping width is 500 millimeter. So if I provide the stepping width as rather than 400 mm, if I go with the 500 mm, so my step 1 is not going to change. You see, step 1 is plan area required. So I am providing 1.65 meter. So I will be going with step 2 now. You see, if I am going with a stepping width as 500 mm, I'll go with step 2. So what was my step 2? Step 2 was to check the width of transfer of stress from the wall of the concrete. So of course it's going to be safe. So if I compute Q, so Q will be 150 kilonewton, 150 Newton per 3 Newton divided by 1 meter strip. I'm currently 1000 into 500. So 150 divided by 500 is how much?
So 0.3.
0.3 Newton per millimeter square, and this is less than 9 Newton per millimeter square. So you know this 9 Newton per millimeter square, this is the bearing stress, which is the allowable bearing stress. Now step 3, I have to compute tan alpha. So tan alpha equal to 0.9 root over Q naught, and this is the Q itself. So 100 into Q, Q is 0.3 divided by FCK, FCK is 20 plus 1. So how much is tan alpha?
So 1.423.
So as you see, this reducing 1.42. Now my step 4. This was angle of dispersion. In step 4, we had thickness of the footing. So for thickness of the footing, I had to compute this length of the projection. So length of the projection is how much? 1650 is the width. Now the stepping size of the brickwork is 500 divided by 2. So this turns out as 1150. So it will be 575 millimeter. So we know tan alpha is what this we had seen, thickness by projection equal to 1.42. We get thickness of the footing as how much it will come?
816.5.
Okay, 816.5. If you are increasing the stepping size by 100 mm, you are reducing the thickness of the footing. So here you see, rather than going with 960 mm, you can provide 820 mm thick. Okay, so you can say that provide 820 mm thick footing if the stepping of brickwork is 500. So this is one of the efficient way, just by increasing the brickwork stepping size, you'll be able to reduce the thickness of the footing. Okay. So I hope this problem is clear, and if you get this type of problem, I hope you would be able to solve it.